Hi, my name is Mark McKnight, and this is another lesson from learnitplayit.com. This time we're going to be looking at a very common progression that we've talked about and examined the chords for, the B-flat blues. Today we're going to have a go at playing a solo over this particular progression. I've got a one-chorus solo that I'm going to demonstrate for you, and then I'm going to talk about some of the techniques that we're using in it and relate it to the other materials that we've covered in this series of lessons. So just to give you an idea or remind you again, the chords for the B-flat blues, we've got B-flat 7, E-flat 7, B-flat 7, F minor 7, B-flat 7, E-flat 7, A-flat 7, B-flat 7, E-flat 7, D minor 7 flat 5, G7, C minor 7, F7, B-flat 7, G7, C minor 7, F7, B-flat 7. So I'm going to play this solo for you, first of all quite slowly and then maybe a little more up speed. It's all going to be in time. Most of it's, there's a reasonable amount of constant eighth note material in it, but there's also some common rhythmical phrases that you'll find in jazz. So let me count it in for you and play it slowly through. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the solo at a slightly slower tempo. Now let me demonstrate it for you at something that maybe would be more equivalent to performance speed. So we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the solo at something that's approaching a more regular performance speed. So let's go through and talk about some of the concepts and ideas which I employed whenever I was playing that. First of all, obviously the chord we're looking at in the first bar is B-flat 7. So the first bar goes like this. That's the first beat of the second bar. So what is that? Well, that's something we covered very recently in one of the previous lessons called a B-flat blue or B-flat Bebop Scale. Let me do that again. That's something we covered in one of the recent lessons called a B-flat blues scale. That's something we covered in one of the recent lessons called a B-flat bebop scale. We talked about how it offsets the chord tones so that whenever you play through the scale, they're on the strong beats, so it gives you a really clear chord sound. So all I did for the first bar of B-flat 7 was play straight down that scale, nothing fancy at all there. Okay, the second bar we've got E-flat 7. So we went first bar 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and now for this bar all we're doing there is playing from the 5 down to the 1 of the scale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. That's all just from E-flat mixolydian. Now at this point we do a chromatic approach system. Boom, 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 boom. To the third of we're going back to a B-flat 7 chord, so we approach the third of that chord by da, 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 da. It's like this is our target, and we go scale tone above, up the scale from that, and then a double chromatic approach from below. That's another common chromatic approach system that you can use in jazz. Then on the B flat chord, we're going, that's really common jazz vocabulary. This is another concept which obviously is very important that we've discussed before, the concept of vocabulary, having an idea of how people play in the idiom. There's certain ways, certain phrases that crop up again and again. So I thought I'd include one of those. This is just a really common piece of vocabulary. It's actually a D minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. But when you look at that over a B flat note, it becomes the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 9 of that particular chord. So then you're just resolving 13 to 5. Okay, then the next bar we have F minor 7 to B flat 7, and we got a really common 2-5 lick. Obviously it's going F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat 7. That's a 2-5-1. And this is a 2-5-1 lick. So it begins in the and of 1. The rhythm here is very important too in terms of jazz. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's that 1 and then a triplet on 2, 2 and just straight up the F minor 7 arpeggio, resolving the flat 7 of the F minor 7 arpeggio to the third of the B flat chord. This is going third on the B flat, third flat 9, 1 flat 7. So it's like implying a B flat 7 flat 9 arpeggio. So we're directly voice leading from F minor 7 by 1 half step, and then down a B flat 7 flat 9 arpeggio, and then resolving from the flat 7 of the B flat chord to the third of the E flat chord. So you can see that every time we change harmony, we try and do so with voice leading, so by a half step. Now, on the E flat chord, that's kind of the same vocabulary idea as down here that we played in the B flat. Now we're just playing it in the E flat, but instead of going, which would be the direct translation of that, we're just going. Okay, so that's called taking a motive and developing it or changing it. So instead of completing it, we go, and then we change that same motive so it fits over the chord, the next chord, A flat 7, and we change the rhythm a little bit as well. So it's the same motive, just with one note changed. Again, this is the third of the E flat chord, dropping to the flat 7 of the A flat chord. So I'm really trying to target the important chord tones in my lines and the changes between them. So we got, okay, so that time we complete it, and then resolve to the third of the B flat chord. Now this stage, we've got 2 chords per bar. We've got B flat for 2 beats, E flat 7 for 2 beats, D minor 7 flat 5 for 2 beats, and G7 for 2 beats. So the way I look at this is that the B flat is the main chord for the first bar. The E flat is really what we call a passing chord to get to D minor 7 flat 5 to G7. Now D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 is part of a 2-5-1. So we can actually just kind of condense it down and just think about the 5 chord. So this is what I'm going to do in the line. So we had, that's us on the B flat chord. So what I'm doing there is I'm just thinking of B flat, and then approaching G7 because I'm going, that's like an approach pattern. I'm approaching the third of the G7 chord. Okay, da do da dun da 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 dun. And then over the G7 chord, I'm just playing a G7 arpeggio with a flat 9 and a sharp 9. So this is coming directly from the altered scale. Okay, then I resolve the flat third of the C minor 7 chord, and on this we play one of our 2-5-1 licks that we've covered in a previous lesson. Very standard vocabulary. So that's straight out of the previous lesson, directly copied. Now, in this part we got a 1-6-2-5 progression, and I'm just going to target the chord tones again. So I'm going from the third of the B flat chord, and then that's a chromatic approach system to the third of G. Then I'm going up a G7 flat 9 arpeggio. So that's going third, fifth, flat 7th, flat 9. Then I'm resolving. Notice again, all the time when we resolve, we're trying to do it with voice leading. So going from a G7 flat 9, so that's the flat 9 of the G7 chord. Then that's the fifth of a C minor 7 chord. So in that arpeggio, I'm going 5, flat 7, 9, 1 on the C minor 7 chord. And then I'm going to the note in between, which is the flat 13 on the F7 chord. And that's going flat 13, third, sharp 9, flat 9, resolving to the fifth of a B flat 7 chord. So that line in total goes. So you can hear how each of the chords is outlined there. Then just to finish things off at the end. That's like going. There's a kind of chromatic approach system again. We're displacing this fifth down an octave, so instead of we get, okay, so it's approaching the third of the B flat 7 chord, and then 1 going down to flat 7. Okay, so that's the entire solo. Played at a couple of tempos for you. I'd recommend that you try and play it along with me in time. What you want to do is think about the techniques I'm employing when I'm writing solos like this or improvising solos like this. Don't be afraid to write a few of your own down on paper using these techniques and practice them up to speed. That way, with repeated practice, they become part of your musical vocabulary, and very soon you'll be able to improvise with these ideas. They'll kind of instill themselves into your fingers and your brain and your ears. So good luck with that, and I'll see you in the next lesson.